Okay, welcome back everyone. Hope you had a nice lunch and a good little rest. And isn't it a beautiful day today? All right, so perspective, a very another vital part about fundamentals of drawing. You know, something we need to know along with shading, how to mix color that we did this morning. But perspective is very important, and I'm going to try and explain it visually for you by doing some lines that you don't see in real life, but they'll help you connect everything together. And interestingly enough, today our wonderful captain gave a little chat on the horizon, and that's something that we're going to need in our drawing. But there's something else you need to know. There's the horizontal line or the horizon. It's not just where the sea meets the sky, it is the horizon, but it's your eye level. So when you look out, like he explained, if you are laying down on the beach and you're looking out to sea, you can see 0 kilometers to the horizon. The average person standing up on the seashore can see 5 kilometers to the horizon, and on the bridge deck of the ship, even higher than the seashore, of course, you can see 18 kilometers to the horizon. So depending on your point of view, the higher you go, the more you see below you and out to the horizon. So there's our horizontal line, and as we've said already, it is our eye level. So I'm just going to quickly do this little person here to show that that is indeed our eye level. There we are. Okay, now if you are out on the pool deck of the ship and you happen to look down at your feet, you know we have that teak planks, the teak decking. And if you look straight down at your feet, you're seeing the plank face on. You're looking straight down at it in front of you. And the plank has even width, parallel lines, left and right side. But if you follow that same plank and you start lifting your head up, as it goes towards the rear of the ship, those left and right lines start getting closer together until eventually, somewhere towards the back of the ship, they seem to join or touch, and that's called the vanishing point. Now, you don't see an actual dot or a point in real life, but I'm going to put one in, and I'm going to put that here as a dot, even though you don't see it. And I'm only simplifying this today using one vanishing point for this perspective drawing. So if you did technical illustration at school, and I did, and I got A+, just saying, you'd have then put a vertical ruler or a vertical line through that vanishing point, through the horizon. You would then have put your compass on this vanishing point, and you would have drawn yourself a circle with a compass. But who needs a compass when you can nearly do a freehand one? It's a bit like an egg. It would go out there a bit more. Then you would use a tool that looked like this, called a protractor. And on its edge, outer edge, would be marked evenly, in Europe anyway, millimeters and centimeters all the way round to there. And those are otherwise known as degrees or angles. So what's important to have all those angled lines is to put a few of them in. So I'm able to then lay my perspective drawing on, obeying these angles. Now, I'm not going to sit here and draw every little tick-tock around the clock of angles, but I'm going to do a whole series of them going through the vanishing point and out all the way around in each of my quadrants. So I'm just going to put them anywhere as long as they fan out correctly from that center point, which is just like the second hand ticking round of a watch or a clock. And we are able then to put our scene using these angled lines. Now, another thing that is going to happen today is things that get nearer to us are going to get larger, both in width and in height. This is also known as scale, but I will stress that I'm not dealing with scale today. It will happen automatically. Scale and the math for that are another whole subject, and we haven't got time to deal with both. So it's perspective today. But just like I was mentioning about those planks on the ship floor, on the deck, get smaller, narrower, the further away they go, and larger, nearer to us. Okay, so nearly done with our series of angled lines. I think that's going to be about sufficient amount. Now you can already get the sensation that that's the horizon, and this is all the floor, and that's the sky above. You already start to feel that. And in fact, you know, here are the planks on the deck of the ship, all going away, getting narrower and narrower until they disappear in the vanishing point. So I want to do our little person stood in a street on a flat road, surrounded each side by 2 terrace rows of houses coming left and right of us. Now, there's no rule as to how high these will be. I'm going to make them 2 stories high. So we're going to make that go about there in height, below our eye level, down to about, I would say, there. So I've already dictated the height of my 2-story building. And I want to do approximately the same on the left side. So I'm just going to use very light guidelines for height of our wall and take that across there and do the same over here and do our other vertical wall like so. Now, don't look anything like houses because we need a lot more information for our eyes to see it right. So what is important is that I've dictated the top of my wall of my building. So you must put your ruler on the vanishing point and spin round to intersect with the height. That gives you your angle of the top of your wall right there. There's the top of it. Same with the floor. I'm going to do it about there actually. Take it up a bit. And the same with the floor. Pivot on that vanishing point, meet the floor, that's the angle, and draw it in darker. So you already feel now that we're stood next to a panel on our left. And let's do the same this side. Let's go over here and pivot on the vanishing point. Let's take that angle there and take that up to about there, because I'm going to change the drawing a little this side of the street. Same with the floor again. Meet the bottom of the wall. There's the vanishing point. That's the angle, and just draw in that a little darker. Now, if you are looking at the ruler at your eye level, you are side on, you only see the edge of it. As you float below the ruler, you'll still see the front edge of it, but you'll start to see more up underneath it like that. And as we float back down to level with it, and then we drift above our ruler, still seeing the front edge, but you start to see down on top of it. So, our building needs a roof, but you cannot see the roof tiles because our point of view is below roof level, and the pitch is not going to be high enough for us to see any tiles. So if you were looking through this building, you would have something that looked like that in a wireframe diagram at the end of that block. So that explains already why you cannot see down on any tiles, but what you do see is the overhang coming out underneath the roof. So you can decide in your drawing, depends where you are in the world, as to how deep those hang out. I know in Switzerland on chalets, they're huge because of the snow to protect the walls and so on. So I've just decided to make them that deep. But again, I've dictated the depth of my roof overhang. I swivel round on my vanishing point. That's the angle of my overhang. And what's happening, should have happened, is the nearer it gets to us, we're here, remember, up this end, it's looking wider and narrower further away. And if the building and the roof carried on to the vanishing point, all these lines would join at that point. We can do the same on the right side. pivot on the vanishing point, there's our angle, and we'll just take that there. We can do the same in reverse with the sidewalk on the floor, the footpath. Just extend it out however deep you want it to go, and put your ruler on the vanishing point, spin to meet the depth of that. That's the angle you need, and there's the floor. Same this side, and I'm not going to go all the way down because I want to change our drawing a little on the right hand side. So we're going to take that down to about there. Okie dokie, so it's at this point in time where I see so many people make mistakes when it comes to putting doors and windows in a perspective drawing. And very often I see this. Right, why does that happen so much? That's because from infants crawling to walking, we tend to have observed or looked through windows and gone through doors that are face on in front of us. And we take more notice, all of us, of things that are face on to us. We tend not to think or pay as much attention to things in our peripheral vision, which these windows and doors are, left and right of us. They're not in front of us. That's why so many people do things with right angles. So we know it's a vertical wall, upright. We know windows belong in a vertical wall, and they also have upright parts. The left and right of our windows are always upright. So I need to keep it upright, and I'm just going to do that as the right hand side of my window pane. What must change is the angle of the top of the window, like so, must follow that, must obey that angle, and the bottom angle must obey that one. And then you can do your other upright. I'm going to put that about there. And I'm happy with that, that now belongs in that wall correctly in the right perspective. Now, we'll put a door to the street below, make life simple. Let's make it the same width as our window and just do a couple of faint guidelines. Now, depending on the height of your door, if it was on your eye level, the top of the door would be completely horizontal. Boom. If it was above your eye level, it would ever so slightly start rising up, and below the opposite, descending down. So I'm going to put my ruler on the vanishing point. I'm going to draw an angle and darken the top of my door in. And it's ever so slightly angled down, so it's wider here than it is there. And that can be then confidently drawn the right and left side of our door frame down to the street below, and there you have the right perspective. So if I want to now put a door and a window nearer to us down this end of the building, the other mistake I see happen is this. People tend to think, well, I've established the height of my doors and windows, so I can simply just go in and measure. That door is exactly from the floor there on this right-hand side, 1 3/4 inches high. There's 2 inches, 1 3/4 inches high. And then they come down here and they put the ruler on the same point, and 1 3/4 inches high is there. And they do this, thinking they've got their door. And then I remove this. This is going to blow your mind. Look at that. Now, wouldn't you all be arguing with me right now had I not measured that? That there's no way that that line measures exactly the same length as that line. But I've done it with a ruler, and you're welcome to use my ruler at the end of the lecture and check it. But it is. So something went wrong. Well, we didn't obey the angle for the top of all our doors, which is that one continuing towards us here. So that is the top of our door. And again, I'm just doing something here which I've done through years of experience. Observation is making this door so it also looks wide enough as well as tall enough. So you've got a door now with a big dog flap. So upstairs, we can do the same theory for our window. Keep it the same width as our door. There's our couple of guidelines, like so. And we know we must obey this continuous angle here for the top of the window, this one for the base. There it is. And now I can happily put in the verticals left and right. And later on, we're going to come back to that window and put in an upstairs balcony, a patio coming off it. So on the right-hand side, I want to change the drawing slightly, and I want a street corner in and go at a right angle round the corner. So I've got to put my corner in there as an upright. That's where that wall changes and goes off at another angle. But before I do anything more to this drawing, I'm going to tell you I'm going to use artistic license in a perspective drawing. Even though it's super mathematical, there are things that you can bend ever so slightly that will look right to all of us. And that is that I'm going to put in the floor here now, like so. And I'm going to use a horizontal line, and I've made that there a right angle. I'll explain why mathematically that's incorrect in a second. Same for the top of the wall, I'm going to do a horizontal line. Now that becomes the end of the block, and it looks fine to everyone. But mathematically, it's incorrect. The fact that I've done those as right angles there is incorrect. Why? Because we are not standing here looking at that end block face on. That's the only time that all those could be right angles. The fact that we're offset left means that that wall is to our right, and anything above our eye level or the horizon, that line there should ever so slightly be angled down, going away from us. And this floor one should ever so slightly be angled up, going away from us till they meet on the other side of the ship. But you'll see it looks all right, and if you do it like that, it's okay. Same thing with the footpath. Now, you can do that mathematically, or you can do it by eye. If I have my footpath come down here and do that, you're all going to say, there's no way that footpath's as deep as that one. But if I just do it by eye and pull this ruler down to about there, you're all happy with that, right? Looks okay, looks equal, looks even. That you have the same width path there as you do there. And I'll explain why that looks acceptable. Whatever at that floor, the corner there, across to the depth of your footpath is, the rule is that that line there to the front nearest to us, that line measurement should be greater than that one. And you can see that is, and that's why it looks correct. Same thing with the windows. I'll just put in the overhang going around the corner as well. Windows, again, upstairs, we can put a window in here. We know how it goes now. Once you get the theory, no problem. There's the angle for the top, angle for the bottom. That's all good. Do the same with the door. Let's do our little guidelines down below. And where do we want the top of our door? Let's do a bit lower this time. And there's our angle, so you can darken that in. And then that's in the correct perspective. Now, if you want a window and a door on this end block, you cannot just assume because this window is close enough that you can measure it 1 3/4 inches again and just wing it in here somewhere. There's a way to get the exact position of that window right on this wall very simply. Follow the angle of the top of the window to the street corner and put a dot. Remembering, seen from above, this is a block with a right angle. So it's at this point, everything changes. Again, this angle for the base of your window, follow it to the street corner and put a dot. That gives you, on this end face, the exact right height for your window. There it is, like so. And I'm just going to do 2 lines down below again for our door, because we want that guide. There's our window, there's our door. Now, same thing for the door applies. The line, the angle to the street corner, pop a dot, and that means you can happily do your top of your door there, and then down each side here. Okay, so we're going to finish off now on the left-hand side by putting an upstairs patio balcony in. I'm going to make it the same width as my window. There it is. So I need a platform coming out. So platforms are going to be flat. I know if you were a builder, you would build it with ever so slightly angled floor to let the rainwater run off, but we're not going there today. But I need a horizontal line, so there's my horizon there, on that corner there, and I can extend my balcony out as far as I wish, and I'm going to call it to there from the wall. So now to get the angle of the front of your patio, you put your ruler on the vanishing point, find out where you put the mark there, and that's the angle for the front of your patio. Then you come out horizontally from this corner to meet that front of your patio, and that becomes your floor. One thing important now, you must erase that part of the window frame because this is solid concrete and you can no longer see through it. So it's solid now, sticking out. So I want to put railing in that protects you from falling off. So I'm going to put a corner in there and put a little decoration bauble on top. So I've dictated how high my protective guardrail is. To get the angle of the front, put your ruler on the vanishing point, and there's the angle for the top of your rail, like so. We know that this is the other corner here, so we can put in our other upright here for this corner, another little ball, and then we can take our rail back to the wall there, and there's the top of the rail. And again, technically, because that's to the left of us, the top of that rail or any of these lines should ever so slightly be angled like that, because they're not face onto us. But if you are doing the railings now to look right in perspective, whatever is facing you-ish, these railings are all going to be equally distanced apart, these protective rails, like so. And then the last one just before the wall we'll put there. But going away from us, you say whatever it is from the corner to the first one, and the rule is, there are maths involved and I'm not getting into that discussion today, but visually, whatever that space is, you have to decrease it, next one, ever so slightly, then shave even a bit more off that one, and then end up with that one. And they get all slightly closer together, those gaps, as they go away. And I did that by eye, just through years of observation. But really, that's it in a nutshell. And I will, at the end of my lecture, take some questions. But I hope you've all enjoyed watching that. And I hope it explains things you see next time you're walking in a lovely Greek street, have a look, stand in the street, you know where eye level is because they're in your head. Look left, look right, see what's on your eye level will look horizontal. Anything above will start sloping up towards you or down towards you. So thank you for watching.